Good morning. My name is James, and in this video, I would like to talk to you about um my OCD conditions. I actually have a few different conditions. um, a very exciting life so far in my short years. I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. I also have what's called Parkinsonism. Um, it's not Parkinson's, uh, but it's basically everything that Parkinson's is, except not. And I have this as a result of a medication I tried called Risperdal. Very bad. I also have another condition called visual snow. And I have that as a result of another medication I tried called Wellbutrin. Needless to say, me and psychiatric medications do not mix well. I had learned this the hard way. For some people, they do. For some people, I'm sure they need them. They're more comfortable with them. But in my case, my body just doesn't agree with them. So basically, since lately, I've been using all natural supplements, omega-3 fish oil, and CBD oils to basically help keep my body in check. But yeah, so that's my overall summary. But going back to this specific topic, I just wanted to give a quick overview of my OCD. I've had it since I was a child. I I didn't realize it at first. When I was really, really young, I just thought it was normal life, just having repeated thoughts of anxiety. When I got to high school, I always wore this jacket. It's kind of funny looking back on it now. I still kind of wear it, but not like I used to. I used to wear this jacket whether it was 10 degrees out to 90 degrees. It was a very thin jacket, but no matter what the season, I kind of always had it on. And I always just kind of felt comfortable with it at the time. I never really thought of it, but, looking back on it now, I realized that was the first sign. Um, Years would pass, and then in college, in 2009, to be exact, my best friend, Drew LaChance, passed away. And that was a pretty big event for me. Very stressing. Worse for his family, of course. I felt terrible for them after what happened. But I know he's at peace now. But when he passed, it, in a way, I guess, exacerbated the symptoms I have with the OCD. It made a lot of things worse. Again, let me back up a moment. I didn't realize I even had OCD yet. It wasn't until 2010, really, that I was first diagnosed with it. And when I was first diagnosed, it was only a moderate diagnosis. So since 2010, mostly with college it started, I started to kind of become afraid of door handles. I was always wondering who could have touched it last, things like that. I started opening it with my jacket or my shirt. I would never want to let it touch my hands. And that just kind of got worse. That was the dorms and all that. You're in and out of the rooms all day, visiting friends and whatnot, parties. But in the end, like, it just kind of kept going. Like, it got, as the years went on, a lot worse. I kind of carried hand sanitizer wipes with me, things like that. I was able to function more or less regularly, I guess one could say. I was able to work. I just started right after graduation, becoming a teacher, but it didn't seem too unmanageable at that time. That would soon change. Around 2014, yeah, 2014, I was in a very bad car accident. And that car accident gave me PTSD. Now, that's a separate video I'm going to be doing, separate issue, but the car accident itself, just the PTSD itself, I guess you could say, kind of uh, pushed the OCD up a bit. It made it even worse. Now I had two things to deal with. And then my OCD at this point was mostly hand washing, just rituals, they say, repeating in your head, remembering to do things, check the door, all that. Um, OCD in itself roots from fear. It's a fear of not knowing, mostly. um, and that seems like it's always just how it is. You're always afraid of what could have been, what may have been, what might have been, what still might be, um, what should have been, what would have been. These thoughts, they just kind of haunt through you. It's rather annoying, very frustrating. But, at this point, more or less, even though it is still very, very bad for me, I'm happy that I know what I have, at least. But going back to the main symptoms of it, yeah, my main symptoms are washing the hands repeatedly, just trying to stay clean. I take a lot of showers, and I mean a lot of showers. I'm a very clean person. But yeah, so that in itself comes back to the whole fear of, I guess in my case, early death, which, I guess kind of silly, just to say out loud. But yeah, no, that's what it roots back, more or less. I realized that. I think when my friend passed, it set something off in me where I don't know, I always had, like, I guess, a picture of how me and my group of friends, how we were meant to survive, if you will. Everything else could pass, but my group, it was always just meant to be permanent. And I know even that sounds, ridiculous in itself, but, in my head, like, I just kind of saw it that way. I think when we're all much younger, we all just kind of have this view of how the world's supposed to be, how things are going to go, our hopes, our dreams, and the rest of reality is just taking a backseat to it. But then reality gets off its seat, and you get a reminder. So all that said, I mean, I really believe that when my best friend did pass, and I actually had another best friend that passed a couple weeks ago now. That's another story, but yeah, so basically, what I'm saying is, at least in my case, the OCD, it had definitely a genetic factor with me. My family has it really badly. My father has it. My grandfather had it. My grandmother really, really has it. So there's a genetic factor too. It passes through the blood, the generations. I've been trying to reach out to my cousins and as much as my family as I can to get more research about it, but obviously right now with everything going on in the world, it's very difficult. But yeah, so all that said, I definitely have really bad OCD, but I am trying to learn to embrace it and cope with it, more or less. I know, for me in particular, that medications do not work. And again, that's just me, though. Different for everybody. But for me in particular, I have what's called a hyperactive metabolism. And that basically means that whenever you try a medication or even vitamins, in my case, it works really fast. And I mean like within an hour for like anything. They say that SSRI medications are supposed to take up to a week, up to maybe a month even. For me, it takes up to a day. So that said, I've actually been declared by a few doctors to be medication intolerant. So there's that. So yeah, man, I mean, I have different vitamin supplements that more or less have kept things stable. But yeah, so what I'm getting back to this though is that OCD is different with everybody. It's bad for some people. It's very bad in my case. Um, and really, what happened was during my job, I was a teacher for several years. During my job, the OCD kind of got worse. I had to work with kids, and I love teaching children. I love teaching anyone. um, I love teaching in general. I love to teach. I love to educate, to inform as best as I can. But yeah, all that said, it made things worse in a way because I was always washing my hands then. I was always wiping them, always afraid of the kids not having washed their hands, which happens a lot, no matter how many times you tell them. And, that really made things a lot worse in my head. It eventually, unfortunately, got to a point where I was called into question why I could not tie a student's shoes. As silly as that sounds, that one issue got me let go from one of my positions. I was able to go to another one, but even at that one, things were still difficult. And then a virus hit the world. So now, all of a sudden, the entire planet is following my example when it comes to staying clean. How ironic. And I mean, that was and still is a very random act that we're all going through right now, but yeah, once that happened, I I had to quit. I mean, there's no way. There's no way that I could stay a teacher during all this. I respect all those that still are right now. The greatest respect to them. But I just can't be one of them at this time with what I'm going through. Um, but yeah, but I'm still, I see a nice therapist to talk things out with. Again, things have been difficult since my other best friend passed away a couple weeks now. I will be doing an update about him soon, but yeah, but what I'm basically saying is that OCD is both genetic as well as environment. In my case, my genetics came from my family, mostly my father's side. The environment side was mostly from my teaching, as well as when I was at the college. And, overall, I guess it just a little bit of mix of everything. But my main key here, the main point I want to leave on this is that it's not the end. um, there's good days, there's bad days, gray days, white, black, everything in between. But there's always hope. No matter what, like, things can get bad. Things are very, very bad right now on the world stage. But overall, there's always hope, though. There's always others to talk to, positive thoughts to have. And really, hope is the last thing that, I personally believe in an afterlife. I do believe in God. I know others have different opinions. I respect that too. But I believe that God gave us that as a lasting thing to get past all the troubles we got to go through here. But in a way, I do feel like troubles do help sometimes. Sometimes they help us learn. And I really have learned a lot in these last few years with what I've gone through. So, that is my video on my situation with my OCD. I will be doing another few on my other conditions soon. I wish you all well and hope you all have a great day. Thank you. Take care.